Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Two Chicks, One Show, where we bring you recaps and reviews of one currently airing show, an episode a week as it airs. This week, we will be talking about the latest episode of Marvel's Agent Carter. We're 6 episodes into the 8-episode season, hopefully first of many. And this episode was called Sin to Air.
Yes. And in this episode, Carter kind of figures out that Leviathan is training female spies, and she believes that one of these lethal ladies is the person behind the capture of all of Stark's weapons. So she begins this search, but then Daniel finally puts the pieces together and the Peggy Carter witch hunt happens.
Yes, it does. It was pointed out in another review that this episode takes place in kind of two really obvious halves, and I agree. You have the first half, which is the Peggy Jarvis hunt for Howard's ex-girlfriends, and sort of like the putting pieces together setup for the second half. And then the second half very specifically pivots hilariously and awesomely into the witch hunt for Peggy Carter, the Peggy Carter public enemy number one. My brain was not functioning. And I think both halves were handled really well. I liked that a lot of what we're talking about is not just like women in this society, but also male insecurity. And that comes to play a lot in this episode. It's come up in previous episodes too, but this one was sort of like the really blatant, this is what we're talking about episode.
Yes.
And there were a lot of really fun moments. Yeah,
it wasn't so much, there's a couple action scenes, but it was a lot more character-driven episode versus last episode, which was a little bit more action-packed.
Yeah, and like you said, there were a couple of good action scenes, but that wasn't the point. I mean, that's not the point of the show.
No.
But they're doing a really good job, and I think one of the things, because as we have been, Kate and I live tweeted last night, and I think one of the things that I pointed out on Twitter was that I really finally, I mean, it's 6 episodes, and I'm saying finally, even though I usually give most shows like 4 or 5 episodes to really set up their characters. I'm finally really liking literally everyone on the show.
Yeah.
I actually like Jack, which if you go back to episode 1, I really, really, really didn't.
I think and this is a little shocking, that I think I liked Jack before you liked Jack.
More than likely.
I think it was maybe episode 4 when he did that, where he threw the truth bomb at Peggy and was pretty much like, no man is ever going to see you as an equal. That's when I started being like, okay, maybe Jack isn't a total ass. And I think it was when the next episode is when you started getting on the Jack train.
Yeah, I got on the Jack train. I started to get on the Jack train when I realized that he's probably her future husband. I think I finally was like, fine, maybe I should. But then they did a really good setup. They did a really good character pivot with him in episode 5. Which is, yeah, like you were saying, where they go to Russia.
Yeah, and I even think Jack in last night's episode is very interesting.
Yeah, no, I do too. I really liked a lot of the Jack stuff that they had going on, specifically when he corners her.
Yeah, I thought that was a great scene.
I thought that was a great scene. I like the Jack Daniel, all the Jack and Daniel, all the Jack and Daniel and Peggy stuff, because what in most other shows would be reading like a love triangle, this really doesn't.
No.
I think they're doing a really good job setting up these characters so that, whereas in the beginning, I think one of the reasons why I don't think I like Jack was because I like Daniel. I tend toward liking the sidekicks or the underdogs more than liking the hero. But so it took me a little while to warm up to Jack, but also I totally think Daniel's Hydra.
Yeah, I think for me, I never really was full on Daniel because I always was like, this guy's too nice. I don't trust people that are too nice.
I never thought he was too nice. I don't know. I thought he always gravitated toward Peggy because they were both the underdogs in SSR. Neither one of them was taken very seriously, and but yeah, no, I'm on the Jack train, I think, at this point. I'm a little reluctantly on the Jack train. I think so is Peggy.
Yeah, I think you're still wondering if you should get off at the next stop.
I'm wondering if I should just jump soon and just cut my losses and go elsewhere.
But at the moment, you're on it.
But at the moment, I'm there. I'm sitting there. My hand is on the door,
Yeah.
but I'm there. And I think last night was really good for every single character. We got more
Mhm.
Dooley, we got more Jack, we got more Daniel, we got more Peggy, we got more Jarvis, we got more everything.
Yeah,
We even got more Howard.
yeah, Howard, who wasn't even present, we still got more Howard.
Hmm.
And we got a little bit more Dottie. We got more Angie. We've been lacking Angie the
Mm,
past couple weeks.
we got so much more Angie.
Angie was pretty stellar this week.
Angie was excellent.
She might win this week's like best performance in Agent Carter.
Yes, she probably will.
So
Um, we got more Angie, and we got to find out that Angie is exactly the kind of character that I think we need more of in like superhero or these kinds of shows or movies. Kind of like how Pepper was when she found out about Tony
mhm.
being Iron Man, where he was like, "Come on, you've seen me do weirder stuff."
Yeah.
When Angie in this episode finally like learns what Peggy's doing, she's like, "Yeah, I kind of figured."
Yeah, she's like, I knew you didn't work for the phone company, so whatever.
So okay.
Nice try,
Um,
Peggy.
right, and she proves herself to definitely be a very good friend
Mhm.
for Peggy. And my dad thought at the end of the episode that she was gonna die, and I was like, they're not gonna kill Angie.
Angie won't die.
Angie will not die. Julie will.
Yeah. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are getting so ahead of ourselves with this conversation. So let's jump into the episode. We start off with the aftermath of Russia,
Mhm.
where Carter finally like is putting the pieces together herself, and she's figured out that because of this girl that we met and all of these things that we saw in Russia, Leviathan must be using women instead of men to infiltrate SSR, infiltrate the US, infiltrate whatever. And oh, Howard Stark's biggest weakness is women, so maybe they used one to steal his bad babies. And I liked that. Like I liked that.
You said it. Um,
Yeah.
you're back. You froze a little there, but you're
So
back,
did
I
you. Keep
think.
going.
Okay. So Peggy figures this out. So she decides to do like this little Howard Stark's ex-girlfriend meets who is handcuffing themselves to the bed kind of hunt, and she enlists the help of who else but Jarvis.
Of
And Jarvis
course.
is absolutely thrilled that he's back with Peggy. He's like, the team's back together. And she's like, I don't think we were ever on the same team, but if that's what you want to think, fine. So then they find out that Howard Stark, of course, gives a lovely parting gift to all his ex-lovers, a diamond bracelet. So they go to the jewelers and they get the list of all the ladies and they start, you know, she takes off some people off the list like Ginger Rogers, but she leaves some people on and they start making door-to-door calls.
Yes, I do. And Jarvis gets door-to-door slaps or ball kicks.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah,
Hmm.
or ball kicks. So, I think it was enjoyable for Peggy because Peggy's still kind of a little PO'd at Jarvis. So, but I did feel a little bit bad for Jarvis at the end.
I didn't. I mean, one of the reasons I didn't was probably because I saw it coming and I was like, this is going to be hilarious. Um,
Hmm.
I thought they played it really well. We're back into sort of the buddy cop thing where we were at the beginning of the season. I really like the dynamic between Peggy and Jarvis as sort of
Hmm.
buddy cops. Um, they're a lot of fun, and I liked seeing Jarvis all like, "Yay, we're back! You can still
He
hate
was
me,
so
okay, but
excited.
we're back."
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, and I look forward to whatever he's going to do now that she's been captured.
Yes. So back at the SSR, Dr. Russia is being held. I'm not going to
Dr.
even try to say his last
Shchenko,
name.
whatever it is.
Yeah, Dr. Russia
Dr.
um,
Russia.
is being. I find this so odd how they're treating this man. Like, okay, he was held prisoner at Russia, but like he's just like hanging out in Julie's office. Julie's like pretty much telling him his whole entire personal life, giving this guy kind of free range. I found it very odd. And then we later find out that he is Dr. Russia bad guy and working with Dottie.
Dr. Russia bad guy is the name we're going with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yes,
think it's good.
he is working with Dottie. And not just working with Dottie, he's obviously in charge in some way. And
Hmm.
I liked the reveal for that. I liked that they did like sort of the rifle fake out, where I was
Hmm.
like, "Ooh, is this the scene where Dooley dies?" Because I don't want her to be the one that kills him necessarily.
No.
Um,
I think Daniel's gonna kill him.
you think Daniel's gonna kill him? I think Daniel's gonna kill him.
We both think Daniel's gonna kill him.
um,
Did you
and
already say that?
yeah, I said it in the last episode or in a Facebook chat, one way or the other. We
Okay,
tend to make
well,
our
I don't
predictions
remember,
off
but
the
yeah.
show because we're losers.
Well, now we're all on the same page. We both think Daniel's gonna kill Dooley. Continue.
Yeah, and there's a outside possibility that he doesn't really need the crutch. Um, anyway, did you just think crutch
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, I liked like the Dr. Russia bad guy. Isn't just in charge. He also has this weird hypno ring because in Soviet Russia rings were you. Um,
Yeah.
and he's able to hypnotize-ish, almost, not quite hypnotize Dooley, right?
Because then Daniel, of course, perfect timing. Daniel walks in.
Daniel walks in, yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel and his interrupting crutch.
Hmm.
Yeah, so then
But
Daniel walks in and manages to save Julie from probably an untimely demise.
yes, but what when Dottie is doing her rifle flashlighting messaging to Dr. Russia and Bad Guy, she gets, a new mission, which I thought was always her mission, is now to kill Peggy Carter.
I
I guess
think
it
it
was,
was always her mission, but it was never like the current objective. Now it's the current
yeah,
objective.
because now that he's in the SSR, he's trying to get to the lab to get the bad babies back.
Yes.
And so Dottie is outside the SSR and has access to Peggy, and Peggy's starting to figure it all out. So I guess Dr. Russian Bad Guy figured out that Peggy's figuring it out, so now she's really got to go.
Yes.
So,
So Dottie has her new objective, and at that point, Dr. Russia Bad Guy decides to try to hypnotize Dooley. When that doesn't work, he turns to a red shirt. Have we met this red shirt before? Because he has a name.
I never recalled seeing him before.
Neither did I, but that doesn't always. I'm always like half asleep when I watch these episodes, so.
No, I don't remember ever seeing him. So
He's a red shirt. He walks in this one scene with Daniel where he's like, I need to talk to Dooley, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna die. Who are you?
yeah. Or he's like he really hates Jack, which isn't. I don't think a lot of people like Jack, but like he really doesn't like Jack. And
Because Jack is the golden boy of the SSR.
yeah, it's because he's got great hair.
His hair gets more fabulous every episode.
Every episode.
It's more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially after Peggy beats him up, and then it's like, ooh, all disheveled. I was like, ooh.
Anyway, so the Russian dude turns to this other guy to help him get access. And he plays on both of their insecurities. Dooley's insecurity about his family, right? And
Yes.
And the red shirt's insecurities about Jack and about his status with the SSR. And his ring is apparently so crazy powerful that he's able to convince the kid to draw him a map of the SSR and then go to a bar and then step into traffic.
Yeah. So basically, Dr. Russian Bad Guy now has the blueprints to the SSR and knows where everything is. And so, yeah, that's the last we see of him.
Yes.
Is he's got the map and he has the named, but we don't remember named red shirt dude. He has him killed.
Yeah, it's like Yak or something. Anyway, because it is at this point that the tables start to turn, and the SSR sets their sights on Peggy Carter.
Yeah, they're kind of like, okay, well, we'll take a break from Dr. Russian Bad Guy, and now, Daniel comes in and was like, Peggy's the blonde, because he went and he visited that guy in prison. So now it's like every agent in the SSR, even agents from Washington, come up to take down Peggy Carter.
Well, we need the agents from Washington because they're the ones that are going to underestimate Peggy more than her comrades in New York.
Yeah.
So yeah, Daniel goes to prison and he questions the milk truck driver from the second episode,
Mhm.
who says, yeah, that's the chick that beat the crap out of me,
Mhm.
and was very cute doing it.
Yeah.
Um, and so now he has his confirmation. He knew it already. He suspected. He pretty much knew it, and now he knows for a fact that it's her. And being the good agent that he is, super detective, he tells Julie, and they decide to attack the automat where Peggy is with Jarvis. So they
Mhm.
clear all the people out, and she realizes it immediately. This is exactly what you do when you're taking down a suspect. Crap.
Yeah.
Cue hilarious 40s upbeat music fight scene.
Yeah, it was a great fight scene. It was also a great Jarvis moment because even though they're like about to take part in a fight, he's like really excited. Like she's like, "Okay, guard the door," and he's like, "Gladly," and like he runs over and he's like, "Yeah." Like he
Yes,
gets
and then he smacks an SSR agent in the head with a tray.
just because like I watched it twice and I noticed that the second time, and I think it was just because he felt like he didn't do enough. So it's just like bang, and then he's like, "Let's get out of here."
He just sort of like
But Peggy
takes the
was like
tray and
already
he sort of
done.
looks at it and then he hits the guy.
Yeah, it was great.
And
It was a great Jarvis moment.
at one point, Peggy, I guess, throws a plate, kind
Yes.
of in an homage to Captain America's shield.
Yeah, she like frisbees it, kind of. Yeah.
Because very few
And
people know the power of the frisbee as those who work with Captain America.
exactly. So she goes out the back way, and who
My
else would be
favorite
there? Yeah, who else would
scene
be
is
there with his coat unbuttoned, hand in pocket, and gun in hand? And he was like, "I knew that they weren't going to be able to stop you, Peggy. Damn right, because she just saved your freaking ass like last week, Jack."
so Jack is there, and they have this really awesome confrontation where obviously Jack, being the good SSR agent that he is, I just complimented him. He's like, I have to take you in, but he's obviously really reluctant because he is on her side.
Yeah,
Um,
like I think Jack believes Peggy. I don't think he believes Peggy did what she did as treason, even though technically it is treason. So I don't know. Whereas I think Daniel believes what Peggy did is bad, where Jack, I think, wants to hear her out.
yeah, I think Daniel is very black and white, and Jack is
Hmm.
very. He knows there's a gray area. Um, I think this specific scene where she encounters Jack, and then encounters Daniel, and they have two very different conversations and two very different departures. Really drove home the differences between the two characters. You see Jack, who is like I knew you'd end up out here. This sucks. We have to go downtown.
Hmm.
And then she's like, I'm sorry, I can't, and then beats the crap out of him. And then she
Yeah.
encounters Daniel, and she's like, Jack seems like in the scene, and correct me if I'm wrong, he seems like, we have to do this, but it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Whereas Daniel's encounter with her is very, I can't believe you did this.
Yeah, I think Daniel's a little bit more appalled, whereas I don't think Jack's that surprised.
I don't think Jack's that surprised, and I also, I also think Jack thinks that it's not what it seems, whereas
Yeah.
Daniel is completely astounded
Yeah.
and it feels completely betrayed.
Yeah, Daniel has too many emotions. I'm really sick of him.
Daniel has a lot of emotions. And then, but her scene with Daniel is, she doesn't feel like she has to beat him up. She doesn't feel like she
No.
has to hit him. She doesn't have to run. She just walks away.
Yeah. Well, I think doesn't she even say she goes, "We know that you're not like." Didn't she say something like, "You're not going to shoot me"?
Yeah, we both know you're not going to shoot me, and she just
Yeah.
keeps walking. And he says, if you walk away, you're just proving that you did this.
Yeah.
And she's not denying that she did it.
She's not, yeah, not once was she like, she said, "I can explain," which isn't her saying, "I didn't do it." It's meaning like, yeah, I did do it, but I can explain my reasoning behind why I did it.
Right, exactly. Like, she never once lies to them about this specific thing. She never says what she's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she never says she didn't do it. And I think that it was a really interesting way for the two of them, her to encounter these two really important men in her life, and to sort of drive home the differences between the two men and also her relationships with them.
Yeah. So then,
Yeah, it's really interesting.
and then
Yeah.
Jack and Daniel team up, and Jack comes to it very fast, even though he looked like he was knocked out, and he meets up with Daniel, and he's like, oh, she lives at the Griffin. He's like, crutch faster. Because now Jack's, like, pissed. Like, she beat me up, and we got her away. Like, how did you not get her, Daniel? Well, I just kind of let her walk. And he does that great line, which I don't know if I should find it funny. It is kind of offensive to people that use crutches, but I'm sorry, it was funny. Jack yells crutch faster to Daniel as
Yes,
they're
and
walking to
it
the
was
car.
every single person that I know thinks that line's hilarious, including me. I apologize if anyone is offended, but crutch faster is hilarious.
Yeah,
Um,
it was pretty funny.
and so yeah, they go to the Griffith, and Jack is pissed because he's got the crowd kicked out of him by a girl.
Yeah.
There's the romantic part of me that wants to read into it and see it as he's upset because since they didn't stop her, someone else might do it and it might go badly.
Yeah,
I seriously doubt that undertone was there.
I don't know. I kind of agree with you. I think Jack wants to be the one that's there when Peggy is arrested.
He wants to be the one that brings her in.
Yeah, because I think if it was just Daniel, then I think maybe it wouldn't have gone so smoothly.
Maybe. So yeah, they head back to Peggy heads back to her apartment because she has to get Cap's blood.
Yeah.
And they decide that's the only other place we can think of she would go, so they go to the Griffith, force their way above the first floor.
Which was also a great comedic sequence with, I don't even know what the woman's name, the manager of the apartment building. No men are allowed upstairs. How dare you?
I want your badge number.
You're upsetting the whatever tenants. I thought it was. Oh, she's funny. So yeah, they go there and they legit miss Peggy by like minutes.
Not even, probably seconds. She gets out onto that ledge really fast.
Yes, this is true.
She gets out onto her ledge and she's right next door to Angie. Mm-hmm. So eventually, once they barge into her apartment, she's not there, and the house mother woman is like, "Oh my God, she defaced the wall."
Yeah. All the girls that work at the phone company are the same.
Yeah. All those phone company ladies. So they order everything searched and everything bagged and blah 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 blah. And then they go out and they go into Angie's room.
Yeah.
And confront her because you're friends with her, aren't you? And of course, I got ahead of myself. Angie discovers Peggy on the ledge first. Does. And that's when we get the wonderful Angie, oh yeah, I knew. It's fine. Moment where, and Angie's also feeling a little like, fine, whatever, like dejected because she feels like Peggy's not being upfront with her, but like she understands. And then they go into Angie's room and confront her, and she gives her award class performance.
Yes. And she starts to cry. And apparently when a woman cries, it is the most awkward thing that could happen to a man that lived in the 40s. Because both Daniel and Jack just completely froze.
Yep.
And Jack does this thing like, please don't do that. Like exactly when she starts crying. And then Daniel just like backs away, and like Jack tries to hug her, but it's not very comforting. But he does say, find common ground with Gam.
Gam. Which, for those of you who watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., is also what Ward calls his grandmother in the first episode of the show. He calls her Gam Gam. But, I don't know if it was, I think it was the first episode where they made the, old standby period joke to make men uncomfortable. Like, you don't want a man to talk to you, you just tell him something about your period, and then you can walk away and he won't bug you anymore. And in this episode, crying is another standby, and it's like, it's a trope. It's something that you throw into a show when you need a female character to make the male characters uncomfortable. And I think honestly, men really are, to a degree, uncomfortable talking about periods and crying.
Yeah, probably.
And I think it's funny. It's another one of those moments where we see the male insecurity in the episode, specifically in the show overall, and it was hilarious. So you have that. So Peggy very nearly gets away. She manages. She's about to get away. She's on the first floor. She's running out, and then she encounters Dottie, and she's like, "Dottie, I need to go. I'm sorry." And in a scene that pretty much none of us saw coming, Dottie kisses her. with her lipstick.
Yeah, like I don't know if I'm like super surprised by it because Dottie did take her lipstick, but I
Right,
didn't think Dottie would use it on Peggy.
that was almost literally what I was getting from everyone else. It was, none of us should have been surprised that she did it.
Yeah.
Everyone knew she had the lipstick, but for
hmm
some reason, none of us thought she would use it on Peggy.
Like I thought she was gonna use it on the dentist,
Yeah,
but
I knew
no,
she was
she used,
killing the dentist within like 3
yeah.
seconds.
But then she used it on Peggy, and it wasn't like it wasn't like a nice kiss.
Oh, it wasn't sexual or anything. It was just,
No,
I'm gonna
it
knock you out
was
now. It
yeah,
was
it was like
surprising.
like it was just like go to sleep.
She grabs her by the
And she
shoulder
gets
pads and kisses her.
yeah, and it was just like "Arr." It was very aggressive.
It was a very aggressive kiss. So she knocks her out, and Peggy's best line from the episode, I think, was, "You have my shade," and then she
Yeah.
passes out.
I'm like she was actually like it was like everything just like came into focus for Peggy as
Yeah,
she's
she
like
sees her
realizing.
wrist bruises from the handcuffs.
Yeah, and that's all she could
Everything,
say.
yeah, everything is immediately brought into focus, and then Peggy passes out. And before Dottie can do anything about it, the SSR agents show up.
And I think that's actually a good thing for Peggy because I'd rather go to the SSR than
Oh,
wherever
most definitely.
Dottie.
I would much rather have been taken by the SSR than Dottie. And I think one interesting thing that's going to come in handy for the next episode is that when they show up and they see her on the ground, Jack is like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, like Daniel yet again is not really that surprised by Peggy being on the ground, but Jack's kind of like, how the fuck did this happen? Like, how is she's not someone that just passes out. Like,
Right, she
Peggy
doesn't
Carter,
swoon.
yeah, like Peggy Carter doesn't faint. So like, I don't understand how all of a sudden she's on the ground.
So I
So
think
like,
that's going to come in handy a lot in the next episode when Peggy tries to convince them that Dottie is the one they should be worried about.
yeah,
I think Jack will recollect that moment and think, "Oh crap, maybe you're right."
yes,
That's the end of the episode.
pretty much. Peggy does. There is some. The last like minute is pretty solid of this episode. Peggy goes to the SSR, and Julie, Jack, and Danielle bring her into an interrogation room, and Julie all of a sudden decides to say, well, don't go easy on her because she's a girl. All of a sudden it doesn't matter. Like she
Right, all of a
walk
sudden
over.
we're forgetting all that misogyny, and
Yeah,
men and women are equal in the interrogation room.
yeah. Apparently, like she couldn't work overnight shifts, but you know, if she's got a bite on a stick because Jack's gonna start punching her like that guy that happened in what episode 2 or 3,
Yep.
that's what's gonna have to be done. It's
Yep.
like, geez. All right,
So,
Julie.
so the next episode is going to be the big interrogation episode. I'm really interested. I think it's going to be a lot of cool character stuff. And it'll
hmm
be really interesting. You can't escape these confrontations between Peggy and the 3 men that she's most closely worked with at the SSR.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Howard's going to show up in next week's episode, or if he'll just wait till the finale.
If Howard's going to show up to eventually save Peggy.
Yeah, or if Jarvis is going to tell Howard because she was supposed to meet Jarvis, and
Yes.
he's eventually going to realize, oh, Peggy's not coming. So I'm wondering if Howard will show up at the SSR and be like, listen, finally tell his side of the story, or what?
Right, well, she and Howard do need to make up at some point.
This is true.
I could see Jarvis going to Howard and being like, "You need to get your ass back there because this woman is in trouble and it's your fault."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that maybe Jarvis encounters Howard, but I don't think Howard's going to come in until the final episode.
Yeah, we don't know where this next episode's going to end and what our final episode's going to be. We do know that I don't want it to end.
Yeah.
And
It's
there's
gonna
only
be
2
very
episodes
sad.
left. It's going to
I
be
know.
very, very sad.
I'm like already like I can't wait for next Tuesday. I think it's going to be a really great episode. And
I
like
think it is too.
my whole thing is sure Peggy helped Howard, but they all came to the same conclusion and what? It's a crime that she's holding her ex-love's blood? No. That's all she's got. All she's got is some,
That
Captain
she
America
stole
blood.
from the SSR.
Stole, took. It's hers. I don't know. Yeah, borrowed.
Steve and I were secretly married. It's mine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they don't know.
yeah, I'm really interested in the next episode. I'm invested in every single character. I'm wondering if Julie's gonna survive one more episode, um, or if maybe it'll be like a final scene. I really hope they decide to do a second season. I think absolutely everyone would be excited for it. The ratings have ticked up over the course of the season, so that's really good.
Mhm.
Haley Atwell has already said she wants to play the character forever, so
Well, she kind of already has. She's been,
right
Peggy from,
throughout her entire life.
yeah.
Um,
We've seen Peggy
so
at like 96 years old, so, we're
and
there.
Peggy seems to be an important player in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like tying
Hmm.
everything together because she's making appearances in Age of Ultron and in Ant-Man because she has
Yeah.
a history with Hank Pym.
Hmm.
Um, so I think it'll be really interesting to see what they decide come May or possibly the next few weeks. And I guess we will see.
I know.
And we
I'm
already made all
excited.
of our major predictions, which is Daniel is Hydra, Julie dies, Jack and Peggy get married.
Yeah.
So
That's all I
need more
got.
Jack stories. That's really all I got, though.
Yeah, Jack, I'm starting to, Jack's starting to grow on us, so we're invested now.
Jack's starting to grow on us like a kind of helpful fungus.
Yeah, it's kind of like the shingles. I don't know.
I know. Okay, well,
I
and on
don't know
that
if that's, yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's just
On
go with
that
the
note,
shingles.
we are going to sign off for today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Two Chicks One Show. We air every Wednesday at 6. Agent Carter airs every Tuesday, well, for the next 2 weeks anyway, at 9 p.m. on ABC, and eventually it will change back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which we will not be talking about. But which I'm actually really excited for. If you enjoyed this conversation and you are a big Marvel Cinematic Universe fan, you can stick around on the All Geek to Me TV YouTube channel. In 28 minutes, we will be starting a brand new episode of our sort of ongoing series called Let's Talk, where we are going to be discussing the brand new announcement that Spider-Man will be joining the MCU for the foreseeable future. And what that means for the MCU and our opinions, and some of our opinions are good and some of them are bad. So if you'd like to join me and Kate and our other editor, Monica, at 7 o'clock, we will see you there. Till then, we'll see you next week.
See ya.